Thanks for joining us today on Polk Salad.
We've started the season and had two great shows.
Great idea. That's smart.
And we've just settled in quite nicely.
Greetings. We have a great show for you today. We have 4 guests. Part of it will be a continuation on what to do with the kids during the summer, but part of it is just general community events going on and how to get involved, and oh, it's wonderful. You'll just love it. We're here with Rob Harriman. He's with the Apple Box Children's Theater, and they have a great show scheduled for this summer. Welcome, Rob.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on. I know you're busy.
Yeah.
You got to go to a Mariners game last night. Have fun.
I got home at 3 o'clock last night, so I'm a little foggy this morning.
We'll keep it rocking.
Sounds good.
Keep it rocking. So this is Apple Box. What is the show for this summer?
This summer we're doing Beowulf. So the 1,000-year-old tale of Viking warriors and monsters and dragons.
Okay. So it's modified a little for.
So we're working with a Maren Bradley Anderson is a professor here at Western.
Oh yeah, I know.
You know Maren? Okay, yeah. Mm-hmm. So she's been really great with Apple Box, where we will come to her with ideas about, boy, we would love to do a version of Beowulf, and there are no versions of Beowulf out there. And Maren took it upon herself to just adapt Beowulf for a cast of 40, 50 kids.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Is that how many kids are?
We have 43, I think.
So auditions are complete?
We already had auditions,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, and when does practice start?
Oh, let's see. We have our first read-through is coming up in about 2 weeks, I believe.
Oh.
And then we start in earnest in June. So
Okay.
we have about 6 weeks.
After school's out.
It does overlap by about 2 weeks.
Oh, okay.
And that's a tough 2 weeks.
Yeah,
Because we're
I
all going to
imagine.
school all day, and then we're doing rehearsals at night.
Oh, what fun. That's going to be great. And where do you perform, or where do the children perform?
Well, actually, there's you can see it if you step out of this building. It's that little concrete stage out in front of Rice Auditorium.
Right. Super. That'll be great. And dates?
July 4th. So it's really funny. The 4th of July really interfered with our schedule this year.
Yes, I imagine.
So it's July 5th and 6th.
Okay.
We usually do 3 evening performances. This year, because of the tightened schedule, we're going to do 2 evening performances and a matinee on Saturday.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Okay. That'll be great. So how long has Apple Box Children's Theater been going?
That's a big question.
Mm-hmm.
The real quick history of Apple Box is that, so I'm a Monmouth, we talked about this, so I'm from Monmouth, and growing up here, the problem that we had then that we still have today is there's not a lot for kids to do here in the summertime. So a professor named Donn, who was an English professor here at the college, just started doing kids shows in his backyard. It started off, really, really modest. So he would take shows by French playwrights and take Shakespeare plays and adapt them and just do them in his backyard.
Oh, wow.
And so that was sort of the seed of children's theater here in Monmouth, and that was in the 70s.
Oh, my.
Yeah. It wasn't called Apple Box then. It was called Sacred Lane Players, because his house was on Sacred Lane.
Oh, okay.
And it was in his backyard.
Where most of the faculty for the school lived. That street is full of faculty members. Still today, retired faculty members,
So the plays got bigger. They moved out of his backyard, and we started doing them in Main Street Park. They built this little temporary stage. And so we would be doing these shows by these French authors and Shakespeare. And and it's been going on kind of more in some form or another with gaps. Ever since then. So it's been around, I've been involved in it as an adult this will be our 9th year. This is our 9th year.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you have a son. Did he get involved in this at all? Did you start it up for him, or am I way off base?
So here's what happened. Donn Weiss did this for years and years and years. And then, I'm a little hazy on the details, but as he the productions that he was doing sort of dwindled, another professor named Bob Page from the college, from the theater department, started doing children's theater.
Okay.
And I believe he had that stage built.
Okay.
And But that was different because it was plays by adults for kids instead of plays featuring kids.
Oh, okay.
After I graduated from Central, I moved away for about 20 years. And my wife and I lived in Seattle and then Portland, and we had kids. And we thought, what a great place to raise kids. Let's move back to Monmouth, because I loved growing up here.
Sure.
And she went to college here, so she was totally on board. And we moved back, and just sort of coincidentally, within a year or two, Donn Weiss passed away. And yeah, so at his memorial service, I went, and just the thing that so many people was talking about was those children's plays that he did way back in the 70s and early 80s, and what a great...
So bing!
Well, not for me, for other people.
Oh.
Do you remember Micah? Monmouth Independence Community Arts
I do.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we were talking about it, and they said, you know what? We've got the money. Let's bring this back.
Okay.
And so they approached me and Barb, and our first thought was, no, we're not doing this. This is a big commitment. And I did a lot of plays. After the children's plays, I did a lot of stuff in high school, some stuff in college, but I don't know anything about directing a play or producing a play.
But you learned.
Well, you learn on the fly. So they came and they gave us money and they said, would you please do a play in honor of Donn? And we were like, okay. So we did the first year in 2010, I think.
Was that the Arthur and Guinevere? Or?
No, it was Theater for a Small Planet.
Oh, okay.
So and that was just a collection of folk tales from around the world.
Okay.
There was a Chinese folk tale and an English folk tale. I think there was another one. It was a long time ago. And so after that, it was a really rocky start. And we thought it was sort of a one-off. But it was one of the things that makes this community so great is just the reception that we got. You know, there are so many creative people in this community, and people just came out that we didn't even look for. Just say, you know, hey, if you need help with costumes, if you need help painting the set,
cool.
And it was just all these families, and we're like, whoa, here's an untapped resource.
Good.
So,
how many volunteers do you have?
it really depends. So those first shows, those first couple years, the casts were much smaller. There were maybe 20 kids, but each kid brings 2 or 3 parents.
Sure.
You know, depending on the family situation, and brothers and sisters,
and grandparents.
So as the years have gone on, we've really built this really great community of people that just come back year after year.
Good.
We've got maybe 10 sort of hardcore, like the core of what we do. And then we have parents who come whose kids are just in that particular play who are willing to sew costumes or make props. Or
That's what I was going to ask. There's so many things, lighting and sound and props.
Well, we don't have to worry about the lighting because we do it during the day.
Oh, okay.
It's outdoor theater. The sound has been an ongoing issue because these are little kids.
Sure.
And it's outside, so the trees are blowing in the wind and there's cars driving by.
Sure.
And for the first couple of years, we were just like, shout, project, and they just couldn't do it. So we tried a bunch of different things, and this is actually, the university has been great.
Oh, they had some mics they could use? Okay, good.
So, I'm so mad at myself. His name is slipping me right now. Ray Fennell, from the theater department.
Good.
Has been great, and he stepped up, and he said, hey, Rob, I would love to help. And again, volunteers just coming unsolicited. People just coming up and saying, hey,
that's great.
I can see you need help with this. Let me help you with that. And so Ray has been working with our sound for the last couple of years.
So there was also an article that was talking about, you had a puppet Cyclops, maybe?
Yeah.
That's you borrowed from Chemeketa, was it? Or
no,
some
it was,
community college.
Portland Community College.
Portland. So you have a far reach.
Well, again, that's one of the things, and that's the neat thing about, I think, Monmouth, and that's the neat thing about theater people is just this
interconnected.
Yeah. We work just hand in glove with the high school. We borrow stuff from them. They borrow stuff from us because we've got a whole storage unit now after 9 years. We've got so many costumes and so many props.
Sure.
And so the college has been 100% supportive. The college and the high school have just bent over backwards, and every year they do it. We're like, why are they being so nice to us?
So the kids that are in it, how young do they start?
Exiting second grade. So they have finished second grade, then they're old enough to do it.
And they go up until high school?
Until they end middle school.
Okay.
And that's kind of by design because the performing arts every year get cut and cut and cut and cut and cut. And the theater and the choir teacher and the band teacher at the high school do a great job. But there's a gap between those elementary school productions
That's right.
and the high school productions.
That's right,
And
that's
so
right.
one of our goals is to give these kids this experience at this age.
Okay.
So-
Okay, good. Tell us some of the plays that you've
Yeah.
had.
So the mission that we have for Applebox is threefold, and we've sort of touched on two of them. One is building the community.
Okay.
One is getting kids the stage experience. And that is because just, self-confidence, public speaking. And the third one that's sort of dear to my heart is getting these kids exposed to great works of literature.
Okay.
And I take that on because, I was in The Tempest when I was in 4th grade. And that's crazy.
It's heady stuff.
That's a complicated, dark Shakespeare play. And I was in it, was speaking, and I have carried that with me ever since. Is I know Shakespeare. I've been in Shakespeare. I did it when I was, I don't know how, 12.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so my goal is to give kids that same comfort
Experience.
and familiarity so that when they go to college or high school and the teacher says, we're going to study Beowulf, they're going to go, I know Beowulf. I was in Beowulf. I don't expect them to know it back to back heart, by heart,
but the
they're going
basic.
to be comfortable with it. So we've done plays by Shakespeare. We did Midsummer Night's Dream. We did Arthurian Legend with the Arthur and Guinevere. We did the Homer. We did the Odyssey.
Oh, Odyssey.
Yeah,
That's right.
that's a
That's
great one.
very classic. Okay.
We tried to do a Robert Louis Stevenson themed pirate play. That one kind of wasn't really a classic piece of literature. We did the
But I
Arabian.
bet the kids had fun.
Oh, well, and the reason we did it was because we did Shakespeare the year before, and we wanted something a little more action-packed than Shakespeare, so we did the pirate play.
Okay, gotcha.
We did Mozart, not the non-opera. We found the script of the Magic Flute for kids without the singing. So these kids have been exposed to Homer and Shakespeare and Mozart, and the Arabian Nights is a 1,000-year-old story.
yeah.
So these kids are going to
Awesome.
carry that with them. Again, they're not going to memorize it, but they're going to be able to say, "Oh, I am comfortable looking into this."
I expect someday we're going to see somebody who's on stage or in film saying, I did this.
I hope so.
This is where I got my start.
I hope so. It's been, I will say, it's been a transformative experience for a number of kids from my generation.
Yeah.
There's a lot of kids that I went to school with who are professional actors or
Okay.
who are theater teachers.
Yeah.
And they when we talk about it, they will say, if I hadn't been in those summer plays, I don't think life would have taken me this direction.
Yeah, yeah.
So it can really it can cast a long, long shadow.
Well, we look forward to seeing the show this year and following Applebox Children's Theater.
All right.
Thank you so much
All
for
right.
coming on.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Been nice talking.
We'll be right back. We're here with Ramon Martinez. He's at Independence. He's the Community Engagement Manager. Tell us what that is, please, Ramon.
Well, in a nutshell, it's I serve as an extension to the city and helping connect community members to city government matters. And my role also kind of has a partnership component, really being able to bring organizations and entities to our community and really being able to take advantage of what's out there.
Yeah, you are involved in a lot of things. And how long have you held this position?
A little over a year now.
A year,
So
and
I'm pretty seasoned.
yeah, you're old timer. The
There you
honeymoon's
go.
over.
Exactly.
And you came from California in Central Valley.
Yep, that's where
Yeah.
I'm from originally.
So that's a nice area to. But we've got a gorgeous day today, so we can
Yeah.
compete with them today.
Yeah, it's kind of we get challenged in the Pacific Northwest during those gloomy gray times in the winter time and whatnot, and rainy times. But when
Yeah.
spring is here, it's all worth it.
It's gorgeous. It is so pretty. So among the things you do to bring the community together, I've seen you at events like that are associated with education. What was that one, and what other things are you involved in? So many.
Yeah, so really being able to, so that one, the event that you referenced was the event that Capaces Leadership Institute was able to put on, and really being able to help get more representation of the Latino community in leadership positions in the schools.
Yeah.
And so in my role with the city, I've been able to be more involved in really being able to help get connected, help get community members connected to opportunities. And,
Oh, good. Okay.
But yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that was more specific to Salem Kaiser, but a
Right.
program we can kind of adapt.
Right. Yep.
Maybe.
Capacity Leadership Institute actually is now being more present in Independence. They just kicked
Good.
off a initiative called the People Representative Program, and in a nutshell, that's for a way for interested members to be more involved in their communities, and by taking on elective positions like board, school district board,
Yeah.
city council,
cool.
or neighborhood associations and whatnot, and
Sure.
really being able to just get out there and in areas that are of interest to
Okay.
to people. And
Okay.
So
Good.
that's there's still a lot more in the works there, but it's kicking off there.
What is the percentage of Latinos in our community?
It's almost 40%.
So
Yeah.
they definitely need more representation, so there you go.
Right.
It's an awesome thing.
Yeah, and then another a fun way to get community members connected and really build community is we recently started our conversation club. We are
That is so cool.
Yes, we are in our 4th month now, and it's been great. It's been a good community response, and this is an opportunity for people to come and work on their Spanish speaking skills and also work on their English speaking skills.
Sure.
So the kind of general format is the first 30 minutes are in Spanish and then remaining 30 minutes are in English. And so we got icebreaker games and really have a lot of activities that kind of help engage conversation. And,
Yeah.
Yep.
There was something in the paper, the IO, about that particular thing. And the next one is May 7th,
Yes,
is it?
that's going to be
Okay.
next Tuesday. So
Tuesday, okay.
come on out.
Yeah,
And
well, this will run all month, so it may have passed, but in this week,
Yes. So yep, exactly.
Yeah,
So we
good.
do the first Tuesday of every month.
first Tuesday.
And
It's at the library
7
in
p.m.
Independence.
Yep. And so we have Robin and her staff have been they've been helping support the effort and provide great space and provide childcare.
Yeah.
We also they have snacks and coffee and tea and whatnot. And
Excellent.
So it's a nice comfortable environment.
That's a great way to get community
Exactly.
building together, so that's super. You also have something called HEAL. What is HEAL?
HEAL stands for Healthy Eating, Active Living, and Independence is actually one of 40 communities throughout the state that has been designated a HEAL city, and this is an initiative that is being led by the Oregon Public Health Institute, and it's also in partnership with the League of Oregon Cities and Kaiser Permanente.
Oh,
and
good.
so, so us as a city, we've taken a commitment to help have programs and kind of lay the framework so that our community can engage in physical activity and healthy actions and whatnot. And so we have one effort that we have started. It's almost a year now, but it's now called Indie Mo Runners. It used to be called Indie Brunch Runs, but now it's kind of blossomed out to the point now we're expanding. We're offering a run now here in Monmouth. And so in a nutshell, what the initiative is to help bring community members together through running and walking. And so we offer this opportunity for all levels. For folks who want to just kind of get off into a weekly activity and just kind of just get moving, get out the door and have a little fun.
Good.
All the way to those who are training for certain
Serious.
races. Yep, if they're a little serious, like yourself.
Yeah, right. So your distance is like 2 to 5 miles is what the poster says.
Yep.
Is that about it?
Yeah, so we're pretty lenient with that, and so we can we have this. It's called Indie Mo Runners now, but it's also tailored for walkers as well. And this is more of a social activity more than anything. And we're not out there to see who can finish the route first or who can, run whatever pace. We're out there just to kind of just gather up, move a little together, and also kind of has this. Supporting local component. So afterwards, we kind of encourage, or we kind of put the idea out there. Oh, after this run, let's go down to Brew, or go down to UCBC's. Let's go down to the Ovenbird, and So we want to have a little fun with it as well.
That's a good idea. That's always the best part about the run is what happens
Yes,
after.
exactly. Yep.
So it's on Tuesday, starts in the park in Indy.
On Tuesdays, it's here in Monmouth.
Oh,
and that's
Tuesday.
at Main Street Park at
And
6
that's
p.m.
in the evening. Okay.
Yep.
And that'll run through the summer.
Oh, yeah, it's going to...
Yeah. And then
year
Saturday
round.
morning is
Saturday
Indy.
mornings at 10 a.m.
Okay.
At Riverview Park, and just right across Independence Grill. And so these gatherings are all year round, rain or shine. That's the intention at the
Good,
moment. Yeah.
good. Because one of the things we're doing today is things for keep the kids busy during the summer.
Yeah.
Can kids run also?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And there's been even some parents who've come out with strollers. And this is also a dog-friendly outing.
Okay.
And so we encourage to just all ages, all abilities, really being able to kind of
Nice.
come out, and we want to be able to create this supportive group and a group that wants to have a little fun. And
Yeah,
it's a great
yeah.
way to also be met with people that you don't see on a day-to-day basis.
Sure. Oh, I didn't know you
Yeah,
ran.
so,
And-
yep.
Yeah. So you started running when? How long have you been a runner?
I would say like 8 to 10 years ago. So,
Okay.
yeah.
And tell us some of the marathons you've run.
I've done a couple, and I just kind of started just by just as a way for me to take on a healthy, active lifestyle. My dad had kind of had some health problems and whatnot, and so I was able to kind of just aim for the marathon. And my first one was a California International Marathon, and it was
Where is that held?
that starts in just north of Sacramento.
Oh,
It starts
okay.
in Folsom and it ends
Okay.
in downtown Sacramento. So it's a point-to-point, so it's pretty cool.
whoa. Okay.
And and then I've kind of, I really like the kind of the traveling aspect. The running has really taken me to places I wouldn't have gone if it weren't for running.
And so you did Boston this year.
Yes.
You have to qualify for Boston. So what marathon was it?
I
you
believe
qualified?
I actually qualified at last year's Boston Marathon.
Oh.
So, and then with that one, I
Oh.
qualified. I guess my initial recent qualifying event was the Eugene Marathon.
Oh,
which
Eugene.
was
Okay.
2 years ago. And
Okay.
then I was able to go out to Boston last year, and I was able to re-qualify to do it this year. It's kind of
Is it PB or PR?
PR.
Your PR, your personal best record.
Yep,
is,
exactly.
is what? So what'd you do?
At the moment, it's 2:49.
All
so,
right.
So
All
hopefully I
right.
can shave that down a little bit. There's a lot of good people in here that help get me in the gear.
Yeah,
And,
I imagine so. So after the end of the run, you can probably keep going if you want to get in some more serious.
Yeah.
But no,
I
let's
mean,
go.
it's
Yeah.
good to keep moving a
Yeah.
little bit, especially after an intense effort, because the following day you won't be as sore. It's kind of just
Sure.
the way the body works.
Sure.
And that's something I learned, I guess, the hard way at first. Is like if you run, and then afterwards you go from an intense effort to just mellow and just sit down on the couch. And in the following day you try to get up, your legs are protesting. They don't want to get up.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Have you been eating beets? My son-in-law
Oh, I love
is
beets.
a big
Beets
beets fan.
Yeah.
It's good for runners. I don't know. Opens your veins or something.
Yeah, it's
vascular.
you'd feel so much better with
Okay.
beets. Just like the blood.
Interesting.
I mean, I'm not a nutritionist, but
Yeah,
I know that
yeah.
a lot of my running friends, I recommend, mixing in beets, and I put that into my smoothies and whatnot. And
Well, I'm so glad that you're doing this. You're getting us into a healthier way to go. Now, one of the things that you had said, let's be sure to talk about 2040.
yes.
Okay, so now's your opportunity.
So Vision 2040, it's in City of Independence is kicking off its third visioning effort to really help have community members share their vision of independence. And it's also this process is also a way to reflect on how far along independence has come.
Okay.
And so we are going to be having an ice cream social on May 14th at the Independence Public Library, and Independent Ice Cream Shop is going to be able to provide some ice cream there and whatnot.
Good.
So this is going to be held at 5 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. And you can find information on the website independence2040.org.
Okay.
And
Okay.
but really excited we're kicking this effort off,
Yeah.
and really hope we want to have community members come out and really share what they want to see. Share some areas that need to be addressed and some
Okay.
areas that need improvement and whatnot.
Okay.
So it's a way to highlight accomplishments. It's also a way to
Look
kinda
forward, look back,
look forward,
present.
look back,
Yeah,
and
good.
really being able to work as a team, to really being able
Okay.
to how we want to be able to build our community.
Okay.
So,
And a great community it is.
yes.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it. We'll be right back. We have Donn Wahl with us today. He's with the Gate Youth Association, mostly known as the Gate, here in Monmouth Independence area, right across from the Central High School. Welcome, Donn.
Well, thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming on. This whole idea of the Gate is such a brilliant idea. And I was doing a little research, and I saw that the first instance of something for the youth was about 25 years ago.
That's right. It actually, the roots of the Gate go back about 25 years to, I think it was like 3 or 4 ladies that started a breakfast for some of the high school kids to come over and have breakfast and get their day off to a good start. And that sort of changed over time into a lunch. And then today, we have about 160 to 170 kids that come over during the 2 lunches that the high school has. And during those 20 minutes, they get a nice comfort food lunch and about a 3 to 5 minute kind of motivational talk from a variety of people around the city and the organization. But that was sort of outgrowing the space that we had, and at the same time, the youth pastor at the Independence First Baptist was looking for some way to kind of find something for the kids to do after school, and so he and some of the other youth people at the church came up with the idea of let's do a community youth center. And we started that very naively 14 years ago and thought that we'd be building it in a couple of years.
Oh, boy.
And it's kind of grew over time into a $2 to $3 million building, and so it took some time to raise all those funds.
Ooh. So what will be, let's go to that then.
Okay.
Tell me what the community center, youth center.
Right.
There we go. Tell us about that. What will be the square footage
right.
and what it...
It will be right across from the high school in the basically what's the front lawn of the First Baptist Church now. It's an 11,000 square foot building.
Wow.
We scaled it down a little bit. It was originally 15 with some classrooms, but it's primarily a full-size gym that will be used as a multi-purpose room. So it'll be set up for doing lunches on the Tuesdays and a variety of different activities, but there'll be basketball hoops there so we can play and that sort of thing. And then there's, in addition to that, a game room that will have a foosball table and ping pong and pool and all kinds of things to keep the kids busy, some computers, a bunch of video games. And so the whole idea is to make it attractive to kids to come hang out after school. And then it also has a commercial kitchen that will make it much easier to serve the Tuesday lunches and that sort of thing.
Yeah, wow. Once that gets up and running, you're just going to be so impressed with how did we ever do it before?
Right. It'll be very nice to have all of those amenities. And we spoke with the director at the Boys and Girls Club in Corvallis, who they've just built a building very similar to this for their teenage program. And her comment was, "You won't believe how this will change things in your community." So.
I imagine it will.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. So some of the programs you run, you have something on Tuesdays.
And then on Thursday, we have an after-school program where the kids come over right after school, about 3:15 or so, and it really is just a place for kids to hang out, interact with adults that care for them. They typically do crafts, there's video games, there's outdoor games. We have an octoball court out in the parking lot. I didn't even know what octoball was.
No, I saw that.
And one of the photographs that you see is that just last week was prom, and so on Thursday we had an opportunity for some of the kids that couldn't afford to go spend, I don't even know what corsages cost these days, but they're pretty expensive. So we had a lady come in and help them make their own corsages and brought the little plastic boxes, so they look very realistic.
Oh, I
so
love
that.
that.
Really a nice sort of thing to do. And then they get a after-school super snack because all of this is in collaboration with Central High School, so we use that food for that. And then later on in the evening they'll get a full meal at like 5:30 or so. And then the kids that want to stick around, there's a youth group that goes from 6:30 until 8. I think,
Is that
after.
Awana, or is
No,
that a different?
that's a teenage middle school, high school youth group. for
I
that.
remember Awana being always on Wednesdays. Is it on Wednesdays here
It
too?
It is still on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
I've worked with Awana through First Baptist, and that's still a ministry that we
Yeah,
have there.
yeah.
And in fact, we'll have a banquet tonight for the leaders that have
Oh,
worked
good.
throughout the year for that.
Oh man! So I know that it's affiliated with First Baptist, but you seem to be doing some secular things as well. Then,
Right.
so
So
that's-
it originally, I call it sort of an offshoot or a spin-off of First Baptist. We are a separate 501c3 nonprofit organization. We are connected because First Baptist has essentially donated the land for the building, and we work closely with that. So several of our board members are members of First Baptist, but then several are also community at large.
Okay,
And
okay.
our purpose, if you look on the website or if you see on our letterhead, is basically to provide a place for kids to be known, encouraged, and to encounter the love of Christ. And so we just want the kids to feel at home. We want them to feel the love and to know that they don't have to do anything to get that love.
yeah. I know that also on the website was talking about how the volunteers become kind of mentors. They're tutoring students, they're mentoring, they're
Right.
guiding,
And
but
no-
not bang bang hit you over the head with.
No, they're there to build relationships and to help the kids be successful. And if the kids have questions about spiritual things, then they're prepared to talk about that. But it's not I can't think what it's not a 5-day club from CEF or something like that. It's there to help kids be successful and to feel at home.
Oh, good.
So.
Well, I know you don't do anything during the summer, but I imagine when this new building is up and running, there will be lots of people who would love to have summer things going on.
Right. Certainly with the new building, we'll have more opportunities to do that, and it's kind of it will be a challenge to transition into that, because as soon as we open the doors, people will have all kinds of ideas of what we should be doing.
Well, I'm
so-
thinking banquets and
Right.
potlucks and
all kinds of things.
Yeah,
like that.
it'll become kind of. We'll have to invite one kid to make it youth, and then the rest can be.
Right.
I'm
well,
teasing.
we will probably, make the facility available when it's not needed for youth activities, for banquets and
Yeah,
events and
yeah.
things like that. And we certainly plan on having next year's garden party, which is our annual fundraiser, in the new gym. So.
Right. Good. So you've been involved in the Y as well.
Right. The Y is one of the other major youth programs in the city, and so I've been serving on the local board. It's a satellite Y for, I don't know, at least 10 or 15 years, I think.
And then the school board.
Right. The school
So
board.
youth is very important to you.
It is. I have sort of an interesting relationship with youth. I'm not sure that kids really like me or that I really like kids, but I really love to see them successful.
Yeah,
And so most
good.
of my work ends up being kind of in the background.
Kind
I
of
keep
behind the
track of the
scenes.
finances and make sure we have all the stuff and
Yeah.
fix the ping pong table when somebody breaks it and that sort of thing.
Oh, I wish you all the best. That's great. That's
So-
great.
Well,
thank
you
you
very
so much.
Yeah.
And we'll be right back. And now we have Becca McCannell. She is an art professor here on the Western Oregon University campus and also very, very involved in the Ash Creek Arts Center. Welcome.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
I'm glad you're here. I have been talking to people who are passionate about things they do, and it looks like you're a passionate person about what you do. So tell us, now you've been here since '95.
Correct.
And you came from Illinois.
Michigan. Well, my graduate degree was in Illinois, and I grew up in Michigan.
That's
but
right.
Midwest,
Okay.
definitely.
Okay, good. So no in-between places. We were academic gypsies. I think this is our sixth state. So,
Right. I came straight out of graduate school.
Oh, good.
So
Okay.
I've been here ever since.
And what do you do in the art department?
I'm currently department head, and I also teach all of the printmaking classes, and often I'll teach a beginning drawing class. I used to teach some life drawing, but we have a better life drawing teacher now. I think that does a great job. So we
Does
pass
she
those off
ever
to him.
use that, you drawing on the right side of your brain or
that
whatever,
one,
left side?
Some of us will use some of those exercises. They've been great for
Well,
thinking
I'm
about.
so dense. That's the only method that worked for me. You have to kind of do things upside down and backwards and let your mind say, I'm broken, and then it can do it. Its thing.
Yeah.
So anyway, I've seen some of your pieces. They're fabulous. So
Thank you.
Good. So with the school, we'll start there. You've done some fun things, and one of the things I'd like to talk about is the Veterans Project. I read about that.
Right. 2 years ago, I had a student printmaker, Eric Fry, who's also a veteran, like a career veteran soldier, and he suggested creating this Veterans Print Project where we pair our printmaking students with veterans that are either students or faculty or staff here at Western. They meet with us, we interview them, they tell us their story, and then we create images that reflect their experiences either overseas or just sometimes when they come back, they have experiences that are interesting to share. So we're producing the monotypes this term with our class, and we'll be having an exhibit in the Warner Center right around Memorial Day. So about the time the Veterans Banquet happens, we'll have the artwork up there so people can enjoy it for that week or two. So.
Yeah. I remember reading that you try to make your materials non-toxic.
Right. So printmaking traditionally has been very dangerous medium. There was nitric acid. There were a lot of solvents that were not good for the environment, and so I've made a real effort to do research to substitute those toxic materials for much safer materials. So I
Which
feel
is
like
the most dangerous color? Is it blue?
Oh, well, some of the chemical colors, like the cadmiums, are really dangerous because of, and then there's heavy metals in some of those colors, so you need to be real careful with the color inks. Always wear gloves, but even the cleaning materials can be dangerous to breathe in the fumes. So we've tried to switch to things like baby oil to clean up our oil-based ink instead of turpentine and things like that. So it's better. There's less toxic waste going into the landfills, and there's not as many fumes in the classroom that students are breathing in.
Good. So different print methods would be screen print.
Right, we teach screen printing. I teach woodcut, which
that's
it's sort of
cool.
a broad category. Relief printmaking. We'll be teaching copper etching in the fall.
Really? Ooh,
We
I
did
love
lithography, which traditionally has been done on limestone blocks, but now we've transferred to aluminum plates. It's the limestone is just really expensive and hard to get, so a lot of those have broken or are no longer usable. But we use aluminum plates. And we also teach monotypes, which is more like painting on plexiglass and then transferring that to
thank
paper.
You for
so it's
explaining that.
Low tech. It's a little bit easy. It works well for children too. And then I feel like I'm leaving one method out.
Something that starts with a T. Okie doke, let's see. Intaglio.
Oh, intaglio, right. So
intaglio.
Intaglio includes etching, but it could also be non-acid methods that are just like scratching directly into copper with a sharp tool and then inking that up. So, so we have a 6-term rotation.
That's awesome.
So they get a lot of different
I'll
materials.
bet it's class everybody's lining up to take. They really enjoy it.
We've got a pretty good attendance this year.
And then do you find that there are some that really are talented and
Yeah, we get
heading
some really
in a certain direction
We do
now?
get some really skilled students. We've had some that go on to master's degrees
good.
in art, and
Yeah.
so that's exciting to see them
That is.
do so well.
That is nice. Okay, let's shift over.
Sure.
So first, you're the gal who connected me with the Apple Box Children's Theater, and primarily, I know you're involved in that, but you have children who also
do,
are
right.
involved
So
in
I
it.
think this is either I think this is the 9th year, and Rob probably corrected me if I'm not wrong, but
yeah,
you've got the details there.
Yeah.
But my daughters have been involved since the 2nd year that they've been doing plays. So I think the past 7 years they've had parts in the plays.
Good.
And the nice thing is they do those kind of traditional stories, like we're doing Beowulf this year,
Yeah.
and we did one's based on the King Arthur legend, and we've done.
And Magic Flute was
Magic
one.
Flute was the very first one that we
was
were
the
part of.
newspaper
Right,
article
yeah,
I saw. Yeah, good, good. Well, I know Marin has been the one who put the story together,
Oh,
so
correct, yeah.
I'm glad Western people are involved.
It is,
That's
yeah, it's really
cool.
nice. And so many of the faculty members have children that have been in the plays
Yeah.
there too. So it's really a
Good,
nice
good.
community builder.
And it's on campus, so that's awesome
Right,
too.
right.
So, okay, Arts Center. Let's go. Ash
Right,
Creek Arts
right,
Center.
Ash-
How long's that been going?
We started forming it in 2013. I think we got our official nonprofit charter in 2014. So we're going on our
Okay.
5th year. And we've been doing a lot, mostly children's programming, because there's no art teacher at the elementary school. So we thought that's a big hole in our
yes.
in our offerings to our community.
Yeah.
And so that's what we focused on the most. But we've offered a few adult classes this past year. We had gotten a grant to offer. We did some charcoal drawing. We did a wonderful clay relief. Floral relief where you press plants into the
Oh,
clay and
really?
then cast it with plaster, and that was taught by Mary Hardin, who's the art
Okay,
professor here
good,
as well,
good.
and Sung Park, who's a sculpture professor here, also taught one of those workshops. So
Good.
we've got really high caliber
Yeah,
skilled instructors
yeah.
that are doing those adult classes. We also offer summer camp. So Francie Zandall, who's a wonderful community artist too, has offered paper mache art camps, and some of them are thematic, like the tropical rainforest, or they did a Monsters in the Mud Room, which was incorporating painting, but also some clay projects that they glaze. And so those tend to be 3 days to 4 days over the course of 1 or 2 weeks, either during a spring break or we had a Thanksgiving camp this past year. We're hoping to do another one this summer. We still need to line up the details, so I don't have a topic or
Good.
dates yet for that. But
okay. So when you do, you'll post it on your website.
we have a website. We're on Facebook.
Okay.
We have an Instagram link
Good,
too. So
good. So we'll put that up on the screen at some point,
Okay,
but
thank you.
we want to make sure that we have that, because part of this month's program is about what to do with the kids during the summer.
right, yeah.
So you'll be having your kids doing what?
Right, we've got a 4th of July activity every year that we hold at the Main Street Park in Monmouth. And in August, we'll be in Independence at the Waterfront Park doing I think it's called Community Fiesta now.
Oh, yeah.
And then we'll have our 2 year-end second Saturday activities in May and in June. That's held at the Art Center, which is the old Independence Library on 3rd Street in Independence.
That's going to be fun. It's string art. and
Right, so
that's-
May is string art. So
Okay.
Felix Oliveros, who's an alumni from Western,
Okay,
and
good.
he teaches it. Well, he's an advisor down at OSU right now for
Oh,
the art
okay.
department.
Oh, cool.
But they'll dip string in paint and then lay it on the paper, and then you either fold the paper in half or you put a second piece of paper on, and then you pull the strings out, and
Oh,
it
is
creates
that
a
it?
really unexpected, cool, blended design that.
Do they
it's really
use
fun.
acrylic or
I
what kind
think
of paint?
probably tempera, but acrylic
tempera.
would. I imagine
Sure.
acrylic would work fine too.
Yeah, kind of thick.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. And then tell us about the fundraiser
Oh,
coming
right,
up.
right. So June 22nd, which is a Saturday, it's after school gets out, we'll be buying out one of the theaters at the Independence Cinema, and we'll be showing Toy Story 4, which is the new, Pixar movie. And
That's fun.
so in anticipation for that, on the second Saturday of June, we'll be doing our craft activity around the main character of Toy Story 4, which is a spork called Forky. So we'll be building our
that's
own
cute.
little wooden sport characters, and if the children bring that to the fundraiser, they'll get entered in a drawing for art materials
Oh, awesome.
and Ash Creek Art Center aprons and things like that.
Oh, good.
hopefully
So
get
that's
some
a great
participation.
idea. So do you silk screen those?
I do,
Yeah,
in
I
the print
bet
shop,
you
actually.
do.
I have the Ash Creek Art Center logo on a screen already over there, so we hand print them ourselves.
What
and
a
and,
smart
and I'm going to
idea.
have my daughter, who's 12, tie-dye all the aprons before the event, so they have some colorful choices to
So you get
pick from.
canvas aprons
Right,
someplace and-
white cotton aprons. We'll screen print the name and iron it to heat set it, and then we'll color
Awesome.
them and make some one of a
They'll
kind.
love it. Oh, and it was so nice to have you on the show and tell us all about this stuff.
Thank you.
I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to be happening with the classes, and hopefully when we get another drawing class, I'll sign up for adults. So
Excellent.
that'll
Great.
be fun. Thank you so much.
Nice to be here.
And we'll be right back. Weren't they terrific guests? They're so passionate about what they're passionate about. And they really make a difference in our community, every single one of them. Isn't it a great place to live? And you can see our show on the YouTube Wimpeg channel, MyNet, channel 718, and of course our Facebook page, Polk Salad, A Bounty of Conversation. Until next month, we'll see you around town. Thank you for joining us. Weren't they